Hi, I'm Jonah Essers with the Tummy Handbook. Welcome back to my series of videos on food allergies in infants and toddlers. In this video, we're going to discuss when to treat eczema as a sign of food allergies. Now, when you have that beautiful baby skin start to turn into something that looks more like a reptile, it definitely makes parents anxious. And a lot of families wonder whether the skin rash that they're seeing could be due to food allergies. So let's discuss when to treat eczema like food allergy and how to potentially address that through dietary mechanisms or medication. So eczema is a inflammation in the skin, and just like food allergies can cause inflammation in the esophagus, the stomach, and the bowels, it can also cause inflammation in the skin. Eczema is a chronic, scaly, itchy red rash, often in the creases or folds of the baby, often around the mouth. It's often patchy in nature. It's often very irritating and causes trouble with sleep. Eczema is a non-IgE mediated process, and if you're not sure what that is, you can go back to video 1 to discuss some of the terminology. But basically, this is a delayed reaction. This is something that happens over days to weeks of repeated exposures and generally doesn't happen in minutes to hours after a single exposure the way an IgE type of reaction might happen. So this is a chronic, ongoing inflammation process. And eczema can be due to something in the environment. Think your detergent or some type of clothing that you've never worn before, or something from an animal. However, it can also be due to food allergy. And when there are other signs and symptoms of food allergy, vomiting, diarrhea, blood or mucus in the stool, increased reflux symptoms, or trouble eating, it's not a bad bet that the eczema could be coming from food allergy. So when we're considering our treatment options, the first thing to consider is just treating the skin before even considering a trial of food elimination. And the first line treatment to treating eczema would be just to hydrate the skin, just locking in that moisture. So often after a bath, what we like to do is to ask babies and toddlers to moisturize, and we recommend using a really thick cream, something that when you turn the bottle upside down it doesn't even move, so something close to like spackle or caulk. And when you rub that moisturizing cream into the skin right after a bath, it will often lock in that moisture. We recommend using something that is free of fragrances or other sorts of additives, so the most natural, simple thing that you can find. Even something like Vaseline is appropriate. And if simple hydration isn't enough, sometimes a pediatrician will recommend using a cream or ointment that has a steroid in it, which is an anti-inflammation type of medication. Now, steroids are generally felt to be safe, but there are some potential long-term side effects from using steroids on a regular basis, so you want to have that conversation with your pediatrician. Now, if conservative measures like treating the skin are not helpful, the question is whether we should then consider a change in the diet. So if the eczema is quite mild, it's not interfering with your child's quality of life or their sleep, the growth is okay, then you might just consider leaving it alone, because often eczema is something that will improve as the child gets older. However, if the eczema is quite irritating, it's interfering with sleep, there's skin breakdown, there's often potentially can be infections in the skin because of how bad the eczema is. And in really bad situations, the eczema can cause poor growth due to all that inflammation. In any of those situations, you certainly want to consider treating the eczema above and beyond treating the skin, potentially by treating a food allergy. And that's when you would consider some sort of food elimination. And if you look back at several of my other videos, we discuss food elimination through a breastfeeding mother, through table food in the child, through a change in formula. So please visit those other videos to have a deeper dive into how to consider food elimination in a child with food allergies. So whatever you do, remember that if you're waiting for the inflammation in the skin to die down, it might take several days to weeks before you see that improvement, because again, we're talking about inflammation that's been around for quite a long time. So have some patience. If you make a change in the diet, you potentially need to wait a few weeks to see if it's caused improvement in the eczema. So in summary, as an isolated complaint, Eczema can be due to many things, including environmental exposures and animals, but potentially to foods. If your child has other warning signs for food allergies, you certainly may want to consider to bet on allergy and to do some sort of dietary change. If the eczema is mild, you may just consider taking a watch and wait approach and just treating the skin or leaving it alone if everything seems to be otherwise okay. If the eczema is quite severe and it's causing significant quality of life issues, infections, or trouble with growth, you certainly want to consider food elimination. As always, thanks for watching my videos. Please leave me a comment below if you have any questions. You can visit my Instagram account at the link in my bio. And as always, thanks for your support.